G'day folks, MBS here. Look, today I'm going to check and adjust if necessary my injection timing on this Toyota Coaster bus with a 1HZ 6-cylinder diesel engine. Now look, why would we want to check the injection timing? It doesn't move, does it? Well, this is true, yeah. There's only a few times you'd ever have to do this job, and that's when you overhaul the engine. When you service the injection pump, remove it somewhere down the track and a couple of 100,000 K, whatever, and service it, and then you have to refit it and time it. And times like this where you've got an old engine, it's done about 400,000, and I'm not sure if the injection timing is correct. I could have worn components inside the pump, so I'm going to check it and see how close it is. Hopefully everything's okay with this video. I've got a very windy day today, so hopefully my voice will come out fairly clear. Now, we're going to do the injection timing with this little tool. Absolutely essential. If you haven't got one of these, you can't do the job. Now they're 55, 60 bucks, so it's far cheaper to do this yourself if you've get the confidence from watching this video or other videos you may have seen also. Do it yourself. For that price, it'll cost you easily $300, $400, $500 for someone to check this, a diesel mechanic in a workshop. So yeah, do it yourself. It's not hard. In a coaster, it is quite difficult. You have to have small hands. Mine are quite large, so it might be quite difficult for me. Look, here we go, big gust of wind. But yeah, look, it's not that hard to do. Just fitting this thing into the back of the pump will be the tricky little thing. So there's going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to do outside of this video. Like I'm going to mark a second mark on the harmonic balancer for top dead center, because you can't see it in this car. It's up high on the timing cover and I can't get to it from up above. I actually have to use a mirror to line them up. So what I've done, and I've got a picture here that I'll show you, come up on screen, and you'll see that the second mark that I've drawn on there, all I did was put it on exact top dead center using a mirror, and then I just painted those two marks onto the pullet. Okay, so I can see those from underneath the bus when I'm looking at this gauge. So yeah, everything will be much easier for me. But for you guys that are doing Land Cruisers or a Hilux or any vehicle that's got this style of Bosch pump on it, it's all the same procedure. You use the tool like I just showed you, and but you'll have access from up above the vehicle, easy to get to all the stuff. Now I'm probably, if I have to end up adjusting this, I'm going to have to probably remove the oil filter, because I won't be able to get to all the bolts that are necessary to loosen the injection pump. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So my first step would obviously be take the center bolt out of the injection pump, so I can get this tool in. I'll get the tool fitted. That's nice and tricky too, from what I believe. Just getting in, because there's a whole stack of injection pipes there. Yeah, 6 pipes all clustered together in a rotary style like a clock face, and the bolt in the center of it all. So yeah, getting that in between the injection lines will be fun, so we'll see how that goes. And I think that's about it for now, so I'll carry on. I'll get underneath, I'll put the camera underneath the bus once I've got the gauge all set up, and we'll have a look at it. But before I go, I'll just show you this gauge in close-up, and then you can see there's a little fault with it that we have to overcome, which is not a big thing, but I'll just show you what you have to do. So, alright, there's the tool in close-up that we're going to be using. Now the thing I've got against this, well, it's not a big thing, it's this fulcrum pin is just very loose. Now you can see there, I'm just moving that, and the needle is moving quite considerably. So what I'm going to be doing underneath there is I'm going to be pulling that away and pushing it against its fulcrum, so that I get an accurate reading on the dial gauge each time. Now when we do this, you do it 3 times. You just don't check and say, yeah, oh, cool, that's good. you actually check it, wind the engine back, bring it back up the top dead centre, check it again, and do that 3 times to make sure that you are absolutely spot on. Now I've also got a little block that we have to fit into the ACSD on a coaster bus. I don't believe the Land Cruiser 1HZ engine's got this. But yeah, it's just a spacer, just slightly under 8mm. We stick it under between the lever and the ASCD plunger, and that'll retard the timing back to base timing. Because all that happens with the ACSD is it advances your injection timing when the engine's cold, and we don't want to be setting it while the engine's cold, because it's going to be too advanced and we'll end up retarding it when thinking that we're doing the right thing. Somewhere along the line I got disturbed by my dog and had to go away and take care of him. So I sort of lost what I was up to. But yeah, we'll get this gauge in, we'll take that bolt out, we'll get it all set up, and then we'll put the camera underneath the bus, see if we can get it to focus actually onto that gauge. I don't know if we can, because it'll be fairly close. But we'll see how it goes. And then we'll be set to check, and then we'll see if we have to adjust. Okay, here we are, we're all set up. We've got the gauge in here, fitted up in there. Now we've zeroed the gauge. Now when you're turning the engine back to zero this gauge, I tell you what, there isn't much room for error to zero it, because if I was to turn that backwards now, even by about less than 10 degrees, that indicator would start to move again. So you've got this very narrow band of when this needle comes back to its lowest point, where you set it to a 0. So yeah, you've got to be careful of that. So now I've zeroed it. Now I'm going to turn the engine in a clockwise direction and try and keep my hand out of the way. Let's see how we go. And I'm going to pull back on this lever just a little bit to hold it against that play in the fulcrum, and away we go. And there it is, coming up the top dead center now, and we've got it on. It looks like 0.63, so oh, looks like I can adjust it up a bit more. So its specification is 0.65 to 0.71, so 0.62 by looks. Alright, we're going to check that again, because it's always advisable to recheck it, make sure it is correct. So we'll take it back until it's 0 again, and we'll do it again just to make sure. Okay, you see, oh, did you see that? I've just gone back less than 5 degrees and the needle's already moving. So we will put my socket back on and we'll bring it back up. That should drop back down to 0, or pretty close to it. Right, okay. Let's take 1 thou off my measurement when I get there. So we'll take it back up to top dead center. And, whoa, I've gone a little past it, so I'm going to get a little bit more, aren't I? So we'll take it back again and zero it. Right, there it is, on close to 0, and bring it back up the top dead center again. This time I'll try not to go over the mark, and that's it. And we've got 0.9, very close to 91991. Okay, alright, so I'm actually just a little bit retarded on 0.61, so I'm going to advance that up and get that onto its maximum side. Alright. Yeah, okay, what a job that was. Look, just to, there's no way I could film it, and I do apologise for that. There's just no room under there to show you what's going on. All I can do is tell you after the fact. Look, there are other people have done this video on the 1HZ. that they've done it on a Land Cruiser, so you get to see everything a little bit better. So I don't know if you want to watch that or continue with this one or what, but you know, I've done the best I can under the circumstances. But there are a few things I can at least tell you of my experiences of this. Getting this gauge in is, wow, my fingers are just way too big. I couldn't even get 2 fingers onto this thimble on the end. I had to just use 1 finger at a time to get it in. So I made it firm so that it didn't move like that on the injection pump, because that would be a disaster. So I made it firm and it was not moving in that direction. It was moving a little bit sideways, but it wasn't moving in the direction that the gauge is set up on. So that's about the best I could do there. The second thing was you assemble it without the gauge on it, because you can't get this spins around where you need to have it from viewing underneath. This knob on here got in the way, so there's a vacuum hose and a few things under there that stops this from turning around. So you fit this up first loosely. Once you get it up in there, before you actually tighten it all the way, then you can fit this how you want it so you can see it from underneath. And that's all there is to that. Tooling. Didn't need many tools actually. You know, you've got your cranking spanner, which is a 32mm socket and the breaker bar, so you can turn the engine over. To actually adjust the injection pump, that's a little bit different. I've got a 3/8 drive extension bar here. That's a foot extension, a 3-inch extension, but the 3-inch extension has a swivel head on it. Well, it's not a swivel head, but they're curly and allows the socket to swivel. So yeah, this is the sort of thing I'm talking about here. The socket swivels around. That's pretty important when you have to undo the inside bolt. There's 2 bolts at the front of the injection pump and there's one at a bracket at the back. The bracket at the back 17mm, so I used a 17mm and then I used a 19mm hook into it and undid it that way and did it up that way. You'll need a torch so you can actually see when you're guiding this socket up to that inner bolt, because believe you me, it's very, very difficult, and the oil filter housing comes off if you have to adjust. I didn't have to take it off for checking. So when you get this and feed it through the back where the injection lines are, you go behind the injection lines, above the oil filter, underneath the speedo tacho sensor, and then with the torch shining it through the gap in the intake manifold, you'll see the head of the socket, and you'll just have to set it up so that it's a little bit kinked, and then you'll get it onto the nut. Once you get it onto the nut, you've got to hold it there so you can get your ratchet onto the end to undo it, okay? Because it falls off again, you've got to go through that process again and line the socket back up. It did fall off on me a couple of times and it was driving me nuts, but I got it. I just had to put a bit of paper in here. The socket was too loose and kept falling down. It wouldn't line up with the nut properly. So I just shoved a piece of paper in there to make it a bit tighter. And that's about it, guys. 12mm ring open ender to undo the nut on the other side of the injection pump. Now I set this up at 0.73. 2 thou, or 2 whatever it is in millimetre on the thou man. The specification was 0.65 to 0.71 with ACSD disconnected, and from the diesel mechanics around town, I've asked them, this is what's a little trick to get a little bit more power and economy out of a diesel, and they all say just bump the timing up a little bit, just to flush it, and that's what I've done. So we've gone 0.73 instead of 0.71 as our max. Hopefully that works out really well. But apart from that, don't forget to put your oil filter back on. You leave that off, you'll soon know about it. And I think that's about it. Not much more I could add to that. It was awkward. It's frustrating, but look, you save yourself a fortune if you do it yourself. And inevitably, if you've got an old diesel like this one, I had to advance it up. It was considerably retarded. Yeah, I think what was the point? I can't remember the setting now. I think it's 0.62. I do believe I said 0.92. I think I was looking at the numbers upside down. It looked like a 9 instead of 6. So 0.62 was a little bit retarded, wasn't it? Wasn't much, just a little. So there's a little bit of wear and tear going on there. So yeah, if you want optimum, adjust it yourself. Save yourself a lot of money. Okay. Don't be scared of it. You shouldn't be scared of mechanical work if you're given enough information, and you can get a lot from Google. Yeah, this is my website also. I'll have this on my website. Yeah, the address will show up above for you. You can go to the article that this is related to, and there'll be a little article I've written as well as this video, and you can have a read of that. And also there'll be a manual on there. I've got a 1HZ engine manual where you'll be able to actually download the instructions for everything I've just done here. And it'll give you a picture by picture of what you've got to do, and step by step. So you shouldn't go wrong. That's it, folks. I hope you got something out of that and learned something, and I hope I've given you the confidence, regardless whether it's a Toyota Coaster. As long as it's a 1HZ Toyota motor, it's exactly the same, just depending what car you're going to do, Land Cruiser or whatever. And I believe the Hilux 3L is exactly the same, so maybe the 5L is too, I don't know. But yeah, that tool won't go astray for you in the future, so 55 bucks, I reckon that was a good investment, and I'll catch you in another video.